All right, Shalom Israel, Salakia, Shalom Israel, Shalom, Shalom, Shabbat Shalom to the 12 tribes of Israel. Peace and blessings to the elect of Israel scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. Double honors to the elect elders of the house of David that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting and laboring for the second coming of our Lord Yahushua. A hearty, mighty Shalom to all of the mighty men of the Most High God who are out on the highways and byways, pushing this truth, magnifying the ministry, presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice, and enduring all things for the elect's sake. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there in the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying, they're fasting, they're studying, they're being diligent, and they're abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the Aquath out there, the sincere sisters out there, zealous, diligent, and on fire, and moving in the spirit of our righteous foremothers. Shalom to the ancient men. Shalom to the children. Shalom to the elect of Israel scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. And Shabbat Shalom and Happy New Moon, right? Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemashah. We are in the second month, right? We have entered into the second month through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemashah. So most our willing brothers are keeping, and the sisters are keeping, the households are keeping the new moon through the mercy and grace of Yahweh Shemashah. And Shalom to all those keeping the new moon, right? Yazian David Yehuda Israel, Yvette McKellar, Yakar Salah Shalom King, Yakar Yasha'Allah Shalom, Kyoko Banyamyan, Don Israel to me, Taylor C, HBK Ent, Divash Branch, KLY Kazak, Kim Israel, Server 144K, Brother Believe, Solomon McFadden, and everybody else tuning in and that will tune in, Lord willing. So the water for bearing with me, Satan has been trying to hinder, right, this connection and the service that I have, but most high willing, we are not ignorant of his devices, and the word can have free course, right? The word can have free course. So the topic of this lesson, right, is new moon lesson, end times proof, right? Proof. Esau's world is completely finished. And it's undeniable proof. Like I tell you in the book of Acts, the first chapter, with many infallible proofs that Yahweh shall show himself. And the Most High has many infallible proofs. There are many signs and tokens that the Most High is putting forth on the earth in these last days to let you know that you're living in this man's end, right? That this so-called white man, his power structure, his kingdom, his empire that he has ruled the earth in for the last hundreds of years is coming to an end, right? So let's go to the book of Second Esau'S. First, let's go to Second Esau'S, the 6th chapter, because the Most High has set this up from the days that were before us, even from the beginning. You don't have to guess and wonder if we're in the end of the world. You don't have to go back and look at the so-called white man's almanac. You don't have to look at the Mayan calendar. You don't have to study Nostradamus and his writings. You don't have to do anything except open up the word of the Most High. And there are tokens and signs and proofs that we're in the end of this man's world. Right now, this is Second Esau'S, chapter 6. And verse number 6, it reads, Slacky, and this Satan is still kind of attempting to hinder the work, so bear with me. Second Esau'S chapter 6 and 6. Then did I consider these things, and they were all made through me alone, and through none other. By me also they should be ended, and by none other. So all things that you see, empires, kingdoms that have ruled, particular men that have walked the earth, all things and dominions, and anything in the creation. Because when you read early in this chapter, this is Ezra talking to Yahweh Shemashah, and the Most High responding about all of the things that he has created. And he said he's created all these things. He's going to end all these things. So everything you see around you is coming to an end. Your job is coming to an end. Supermarkets are coming to an end. Cheap prices are coming to an end. Easy access to food is coming to an end. Affordable lifestyles, all of that is coming to an end, right? Peace on earth is coming to an end, right? All of these things are going to shortly come to an end. And who's going to bring it to an end? The Most High. He's the one that started it. He's going to finish it. That's why he's the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last, right? So he said, by me also they shall be ended, and by none other. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? Right now, this is a question that Ezra asked, man. right? He asks, well, when are the power shifts going to happen? When are we going to rule, right? When are times going to end for these other nations? When are their kingdoms going to wax old? It reads, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac. It's like when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau, right? You can read that in Genesis chapter 25, 21 through 25. Remember, Rebekah, the mother of Esau and Jacob, bore them as twins, and the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau, right? And then Jacob came out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel. Why did Jacob's hand take hold on Esau's heel? That was symbolic for Jacob pulling down Esau's kingdom. We're Jacob, the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American man of Negro and Indian descent who are in the knowledge of Yahweh Shai in the last days, man. And the Most High is raising up an army, man, that's going to pull down this kingdom. And it's starting by the word of the Most High. This is the preliminary stages of the end of the so-called white man's kingdom, right? The Lord said in, let me get this quick precept in 2 Thessalonians, how the Most High told you strategically how he's going to knock this man off his power seat, man. Right, this 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. So first, before the Lord physically comes and takes the so-called white man's kingdom away, he's going to consume him with the spirit of his mouth, right? The spirit of his mouth represents the prophets, the apostles, the teachers, the evangelists, the pastors, the men of the Lord who are out there in the highways and byways exposing Esau for being the enemy of all righteousness, man, and exalting the name of Yahweh and his son Yahweh Shai and the children of Israel. So all of his deep, in-depth secrets, his sins, his false counsels, who he is, his wicked religions, his ideologies, all of these things that the so-called white man does and who he truly is being revealed by the spirit of the Most High's prophets. And afterwards, the Most High is going to physically destroy him with the brightness of his coming, meaning with the chariots of God, what the world calls UFOs. So in 2 Ezra 6, Jacob is going to pull, it's telling you that Jacob is going to pull down the so-called white man's kingdom, right? For Esau is the end of the world, the 2 Ezra 6 and 9. And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. What does it mean Esau is the end of the world? He's the last ruler of all nations. He's the last one. There won't be the Moabite man. We don't care about what China says that they're going to do, right? There won't be the Japanese. It's not going to be the Russians. This is it, man. The last ruling power of the earth is the so-called white man, predominantly Babylon the Great, which is the headquarters of Edom. But that's every so-called white man. This is their end. Now, the world ending is not the entire what they call planet Earth exploding or imploding or being destroyed by some death ray or by some villain. The end of the world means the end of an age, an end of a rulership, an end of a time period, an epoch, if you will. And that's why you see the world collapsing, people waxing worse, generations waxing worse. Trees dying, animals dying, people losing common sense and ethics and morals and common sense and sensibility. All these things are going out the way, man. Why? Because this is the end of the so-called white man's rulership. And that's how the Most High is going to bring this man down, right? Let's go to Lamentations chapter 4 and 31, right? And you see the signs. And if you don't see the signs, we're going to touch on the signs and what the Most High is doing on the earth. Right, this is Lamentations chapter 4 and 31, 4 and 21. Right, Lamentations 4 and 21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shall make thyself naked. Now, the daughter of Edom is speaking about really these modern day Edomites that rule today. Right, now you had ancient Edom. Right, ancient Edom was a kingdom that was south of Judah. And you had kings of Edom when you read Genesis, the 36th chapter. You had the sons of Esau, right? You had all of these different men who Eliphaz, Raguel, Amalek, they ruled. But today we're living in an offshoot of modern day Edom. And they spiritually dwell in a land of Uz. The land of Uz was a rich land, a land of cattle, a land of resources, a land of gold, a land of silver. So it's symbolically, or parabolically rather, letting you know that America and a so-called white man, their rulership that's going down is coming down from an estate of riches, wealth, and power. And how's it going to go down? The Most High said, the cup also shall pass through unto thee. What is the cup? The cup is the cup of judgment, right? The cup of indignation. I believe that's, let's get that in Isaiah, right? That's the cup of judgment. Let's get this. This, Isaiah, I believe this is what I want, chapter 51 and verse number 17. About the cup. When the Lord said in Lamentations, the cup also shall pass through unto thee, meaning you're going to get your judgment too. The cup of judgment is coming to you. It's not just going to come to Israel. We're not just going to be in curses and be judged by the Most High God forever. We're not going to be in ghettos forever. We're not going to be on crack, on dope. We're not going to be oppressed forever. The cup that we drink of affliction, the Most High is going to take that cup out of our hand and give it to the so-called white man, and he's going to have to drink of it. Right? So let's get that precept for the cup. Isaiah chapter 51 and verse number 17. Awake, awake, stand up, O Jerusalem, which has drunk at the hand of the Lord, the cup of his fury. Thou hast drunken the dregs of the cup of trembling and wrung them out. So we've been drinking of the fury of the Most High. Why do you think we go through the curses? Police brutality, the industrial and prison complex, disenfranchisement, right? Slavery, yokes of iron, bills, work, bondage, taxes. That's drinking up the cup of the fury of the Most High. And that same cup that we're drinking of, the Most High is going to get that to Esau. And he's drinking of that cup right now, man. That's why his economy's collapsing. His people don't trust him anymore. You have civil unrest coming to this world. The dollar is losing its value every single second. This is the end of this man's world, man. The Lord said, thou shalt be drunken and shall make thyself naked. And making yourself naked, meaning you're going to be exposed. You're going to expose yourself. The Most High is going to show your hand. And all of your sins and wickedness and your folly is going to be made manifest. Verse number 22. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. You see that? So the Lord said, our punishment is over with, man. Like a sentence, a prison sentence, where you may serve 25 years, 30 years, 5 years. Once that sentence is over, you're done. You're free to walk out. That's how we are. The Most High is telling us our punishment is about to be done. And this is our last captivity. There ain't no other captivity after this, man. We're not going to go to captivity under the Japhites. We're not going to go in ships again and go back to the land of Ham. This is it. This is the last, what they call the last go around, the last dance, man. That's what this means. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. Because America's our last captivity. We've been captives under everybody, man. The Most High said he will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. So what are his sins? His illuministic practices, child sacrifice, lewd dark magic, sorcery, witchcraft, murders, genocides, all of these sins that they have tried to hide for the last God knows how long. The Most High is bringing these things to light, first and foremost, by the men of Yahweh Shema Shai. But the Lord is also putting the spirit on these other nations, man, other Edomites, and he has created social media platforms to bring things to light and whistleblowers and things of that nature, where all of the dark works of the so-called white man are being revealed, and all of his signs and tokens are being seen. Let's go to 2nd Esdras real quick, chapter 4. All right, let's go to 2nd Esdras. Make sure the screen is showing. Okay, come on, 2nd Esdras chapter 4, and let's read verse number 52. Right, this 2nd Esdras chapter 4. I'm going to start at 51. 4 and 51. Then I prayed and said, may I live? Thinkest thou unto that time? Or what shall happen in those days? And that's what Ezra asked, man. He wanted to see the end of the world. The time that you're living in now, many of our men that came before us, our fathers and prophets and kings and priests, they would have loved to be in these days, man. They would have loved to see the days of the end of America, the days that they prophesied of. Isaiah prophesied about this place going down and said, behold, the Lord cometh with fire, right? With his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. John saw that, man, and said he had on his thigh written, a King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Ezra saw it, right? In 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, he said there came a man from the sea, which moved all the waves thereof. A lot of our fathers saw these times that you're living in, man. So Ezra, he wanted to see those days. He said, can I live until that time? Right? What's going to happen in those days? Let me get this quick precept in Matthew 13, right? Where Yahweh said, many righteous men have desired to see those things which they see and have not seen them, right? This is Matthew chapter 13. And let's see, this is what I want. I believe I want Matthew 13 and 17. It reads, I'm going to start at 16. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. You can't take this for granted, man. You can't take for granted that you were created and brought into the knowledge of the Most High in the last generation. This is the last generation. There won't be another empire after this, man. You were brought into the grace and mercy of the Most High when it matters the most. You actually have an opportunity, Most High, willing to see the ICBM missiles, man, to see the chariots come, man, to get beamed up, to live through this man's destruction. Elijah didn't get to see that, man. John didn't get to see that. Noah didn't get to see that. Isaac and Abraham and Jacob and Judah and all of our fathers didn't get to see it. The Lord said that you're blessed because you get to see and hear what's going on in the last days. So don't take that for granted. Don't abuse the liberty that the Most High gave you. For verily I say unto you that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear and have not heard them, man. Many men wanted to see the end of this man's world. Daniel prophesied of the fourth beast, man. The legs of iron, the part iron, part clay. You know, certain prophets were given horrible visions, man, and dreams of the night, and they didn't even know what they meant. Some men fell sick, man, for many days, and they had no understanding of the vision. They talked to people, they couldn't break it down to them, and here it is, you get the understanding now. You have that understanding. So Ezra, about 2,500 years ago, I'm going to read it again. 2nd Ezra 4 and 51. Here's what he said. Then I prayed and said, may I live? Thinkest thou unto that time? Or what shall happen in those days? He answered me and said, as for the tokens whereof thou askest me, I may tell thee of them in part. But as touching thy life, I am not sent to show thee, for I do not know it. Right? So the angel said, I can show you tokens in part. Right? What are tokens? Tokens are signs. Let me see if we can get that definition. Tokens really just mean signs. Right? Let's see. See that? A thing serving as a visible or tangible representation of a fact, quality, or feeling. A symbol, a sign, right? A mark, indication, right? An emblem, a badge. So there are certain signs and indicators to let you know that you're in the end of the world. You don't have to guess, right? The angel told him, I can show you signs, but I can't show you everyone. I'm only show you some in part, you know, because Yahweh Shah has signs and he had to prophesy in part, huh? All of the prophets, we prophesy in part. Tell you that in 1 Corinthians chapter 13. So everything that Ezra was given, he wasn't given everything in its entirety. He was given what he wrote, right? And what he wrote was in part. And the angel said, look, if you want me to tell you if you're going to live in those days, I don't know. That regeneration and what generation you are and when you're going to be back on the earth and how long you live, the Most High didn't give me that understanding. I'm just an angel, but you're going to accept what I'm going to tell you. That's what the angel of the Most High told him. There are tokens and signs. And if you're not watching, and if you haven't read, then how are you going to know you're in the end of the world? The only way you would know that you're in the proof that you're in this man's downfall in his last days is if you read. And if you have an obedient ear, and if you also marry that with watching what the Most High told you after you read it. You have many people, God, show me a sign. Lord, give me proof that you're on your way. Lord, show me a sign, so-and-so. Let me go to Matthew, the 12th chapter, right? Let's go to Matthew, the 12th chapter. Let's go to this real quick, man. See, there are many signs, and there are more signs that you may not even be aware of. You know, because there are many chapters, many prophecies, many breakdowns that the Father saw, and you got to link them all up. You got to link them all up through the Spirit. St. Matthew, chapter 12 and 38. Then certain of the scribes and of the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, we would see a sign from thee. And that's what men are saying. Men that don't read, they don't study, they don't pray, they don't want to repent, they don't want to put the blunt down. They refuse to put the black and mild down, right? They're drunkards, revelers, scoffers, and then when things don't go their way, now they want to see a sign from the Lord. When they can't pay their bills, when they want a job, when their car break down, when that the baby mother put them on child support, and they got a court case, and now they want to see a sign. You already have the signs, man. They're tokens. Yahushua not going to manifest himself on the earth in the year 2025 and go and be in Bethlehem and travel up Galilee again and attract a massive crowd and start performing miracles again. He's not going to do that. I believe you got Amalek, you got certain people that are still waiting on Yahushua's birth, man. How foolish could you be? You have men literally waiting around for Yahushua to be born in Bethlehem right now, today. So these men said, we would see a sign from him, meaning show us a sign. But he answered and said unto them, an evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given to it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. And he's really going into the resurrection with the sign of the prophet Jonas, right? That's the sign, right? That I'm going to be put to death and I'm going to raise again. And I am the resurrection. And if you believe in me, you can have life, right? That's the sign within itself. But this is an evil and adulterous generation. This generation is full of murderers, drug dealers. They're proud, they're vain, attention seekers, idolaters, Sabbath breakers, and they're adulterers, man. Right? From this man to this man, this woman to this woman. Rap music about adultery, you know, freakism, adulterous networks and channels and talk shows and podcasts and reality TV shows of adultery and wickedness and madness. You think the Most High is going to give a sign to this wicked generation? You think Yahushua is going to walk the earth with the apostles and start doing miracles again? No. The signs are already documented. They're already written. What to look out for. They're already written. And that's what the angel told Ezra. He said, I'm going to show you some of these signs, but I'm going to show you in part. Right? I'm going to show you this part. I'm going to show you this part. I'm going to show you this part and that part. That's what tokens are in 2nd Esau'S, the 4th chapter. Now, when you go to the 5th chapter, he tells you, right? 2nd Esau'S 5 and 1. It reads, nevertheless, as concerning the tokens, behold, the day shall come that they which dwell upon earth shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith. And we're going to go through some of these tokens and signs, different events that are going on the earth, and back it up with the Most High's word, right? Now, one of the signs that Ezra was told is that you're going to have massive casualties on the earth by means of war, by means of famine, and by other means of bloodshed. That's what this means when it says, the day shall come that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in a great number. Taken where? Meaning their lives are going to be taken. Taken doesn't mean they're taken on a cruise. They're taken on a date. They were taken on vacation. No, their lives are going to be taken. Yahushua said, 2 men shall be in the bed, one shall be taken, the other shall be left. 2 women shall be grinding at the mill, one shall be taken, the other shall be left. When Yahushua said they're going to be taken, he meant they're going to get put to death. And the apostles said, let me see if I can get that, man. The apostles, they inquired on that, right? Let's see if I can get that real quick in Matthew. I believe that's Matthew, right? Let's get that. So Yahushua, he spoke about that, man, about men being taken, right? This is, let's see. I'll have to get this. This is Matthew 24, and I'm going to start at verse number 40, right? And there's another one I want to get, but I'll read this. It reads, then shall 2 be in the field, the one shall be taken and the other left. 2 women shall be grinding at the mill, the one shall be taken and the other left, right? And let's see if we get this in Luke 17, right? Let's see. Luke 17 and verse number 34. I tell you, and that night there should be 2 men in one bed. The one shall be taken and the other shall be left. So one man's going to get put to death. Rather, one man he died by in a famine, and his brother survived. Or this guy get drafted to World War III. He's somewhere in Syria, hiding behind the blown up hospital, and he get put to death by some Arab. He's taken, the other one's left. 2 women shall be grinding together. The one shall be taken and the other left. Right? Grinding meaning working, right? It might be a woman that you know. She might be at your workplace. You might see 2 women at your so-called workplace, man. One of those women are going to die. The other one might be left. 2 men shall be in the field. The one shall be taken and the other left. And they answered and said unto him, where, Lord? I mean, where are they going to be taken? Where are they going? And he said unto them, wheresoever the body is, thither will the eagles be gathered together. So what did he mean? What does that mean? Wheresoever the body is. So the apostle said, where these bodies going to be at? He said these bodies are going to be surrounded by eagles. Now, what does that mean? Eagles, vultures, buzzards are going to be feeding off of the carcasses of these bodies. If you want to find out where that other man was in the field at, just look around. You're going to see a bunch of buzzards, a bunch of vultures, and they're going to be picking out his eye, picking out his tongue, eating out his damn ear. Right? The Lord tell you in Job, the 39th chapter, that them eagles, man, they love blood, man. Quick precept. What is Job 39? Right? Let's get this. This is Job chapter 39 and verse number 30. Here's the eagle. Her young ones also suck up blood, and where the slain are, there is she. So this is the precept. Right? That's why precept must be upon precept. The young ones, they suck up blood, and where the slain are, there is she. So the people that are taken, they're slain. 2nd Ezra 5 is letting you know that the days, I'm going to read it from the top. 2nd Ezra 5 and 1. Nevertheless, as concerning the tokens, behold, the days shall come that they which dwell upon earth shall be taken in a great number. So many men are going to be slain. And there's many ways to die. It's not just you died by an ICBM missile. You can starve to death, right? You can get beat to death with an object because you had bread in your cabinet and your neighbor really needed it. So he bust your door down, beat you with a blunt force object, bust your skull in, man. and took your children and your women captive and that loaf of bread and spit on your body and slammed the door and left, man. Some men are going to die, like I said, in war. Don't you know that they may have a draft coming, man? And they're going to call your number and call your name. And you're going to be somewhere holding an AR-15. People are going to die in wars, man. Read 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter. Men are going to commit suicide. That's coming back. Or in a big way, man. And when that Great Depression happened, you had men jumping off of buildings. In a recession, you had CEOs jumping off of buildings. When this economy go down, you think people are going to be okay with that, man? Depression is going to skyrocket. People are going to have thoughts of harming themselves. People are going to put a damn shotgun to their damn their chin, and they're going to blow their head off. Many men are going to die. And the truth is going to be hidden. They're banning channels. They're banning camps in countries. Famine of the word. These are certain tokens, man. One of the other tokens is the famine, right? Now, this is from NBC News. All of this is fair use. Product shortages and empty store shelves loom with failing shipments from China, right? Now, your local Walmarts, your local Targets, your Home Depots, your grocery stores and things of that nature, right? A lot of these things, we all know they come from China. Matter of fact, what we'll do, let's pull up top imports that come from China, right? Let's see everyday goods that come from China. Let's see if they give us a list. Look at this. They got one, you're home without China. They're gonna have me pay for this, man. Let's see. Let's try this. Right? New York Times, they want you to pay for that. I'm not paying for it. Right? It's the new moon. It says taking, and I'm not paying for it anyway. Right? Taking a look at how many household items you may have that are made in China. Right? Let's see. See, I'm not filling this out. I don't want to fill that out. Hold on. Right? Let's see if we can get this. That was, they always want to have you sign up for something. Right? Let's see. All right, give me the runaround. We're looking for the information, right? Let's see. Oh, they say watch the video. All right. Let's see if we can click this video and see what items come from China. Because a lot of brothers may not know, man. A lot of brothers really may not, take it into account what's really coming from China. Right? Let me see if I can play this real quick through the spirit and power. If I can't play it, that's fine. Right? So like, right, bear with me. Let's play this quick video, quick tab. I believe that's the #1 so-called trading partner, right? So let's see. Taking a look at how many household items you may have that are made in China. This is all fair use. All right. So we get this to play.
And with all of the talk of the trade war with China, got us wondering just how much of all the daily items we use come from China and what that impact will be.
So News 5's Elizabeth Van Metre brought us into her home this morning to show you what she learned about her daily routine.
Welcome to my morning.
Like you, coffee is a must first thing. My pot's from Brazil. My Keurig is from China.
I just checked my milk frother is made in China.
And the cup, that's made in China too.
So packing my kids' lunch for the day, take a peek inside where this lunchbox was made. You guessed it, China.
And the ice pack, California Innovations Inc., made in China. My stove made in China. These Dutch pancake bites say manufactured in Texas. The pan I'm cooking them on, made in China.
My son's playing with his favorite toy right now, which is like Rex from Toy Story. Made in China.
Cereal for breakfast today, Cheerios, made in Buffalo.
But the bowl is made in China.
The spoon, made in China too. One of the confusing things of reading late.
So you get the point. You get the point. Maybe 85% of what's in your house, and that's being generous. Maybe 85% is made in China, right? Maybe more, right? Maybe 90% of what's in your house is made in China, man. Right? So you got to think about that, man. You got to think about that. Now they're telling you that these shelves are going to become empty, right? Let's see. I don't want to click that again. Let's see. So they're saying, let me try one more link. Right, bear with me. What is this? Okay, they're saying the U.S. still depends heavily on China for imports, and 2024, led by telecom gear, was that telecommunications, headsets, phones, computers, AirPods, things of that nature, toys, computer hardware, chargers, hard drives, motherboards, keyboards, mouses, accessories, according to new data from the U.S. International Trade Commission. Here are the top product categories imported from China by value. The U.S. imported $145.6 billion worth of telecommunications equipment in total, with 40.9%, which is about 60 billion coming from China. Right? Machines, imports of automatic data processing machines, including computers. That's a lot, man. Were valued at 140 billion, of which 25 billion came from China. Toys, baby carriages, games, sporting goods, 72 billion come from China. Right? Electrical machinery, 79.4 billion from China. Household, electrical, and non-electrical equipment, right? Other major video monitoring and recording equipment, footwear, 35 billion coming from China. Furniture, bedding, mattresses, 26 billion, right? 42 bill from China. Other plastic products, 21 bill. Textile products, that's your fabrics, your cloths, your silk, your cotton, your woolen, your linen, polyester, your clothes, all of that is China. 21 bill. Motor vehicle parts, spare alternator, a battery, transmission, all that stuff, China. Right? Parts for office and data processing machines, man, stuff that keep corporate networks going, man. Clouds and system administrators to help out with your corporate workplace and your computers and things of that nature, man. At your Best Buys, your Geek Squads and all of that stuff, right? That's the real deal, man. Right? So they're telling you that you're going to have empty store shelves. Now, ultimately, this is going to lead to what's one of the signs. The sound of the grinding being low, right? The sound of the grinding being brought low. You should be excited, man. You may very well, if the Most High don't, do change things, right? You may very well, by the time it's, June, July, you go on the shelves and, this is empty and where's this at? And there's longer lines and people, stealing increasing, theft increasing. Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse number 4. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. You see that? So the Most High said that the estate of cities is going to be so dismal, so crime-filled, so much poverty, empty shelves, looting, robbery, no jobs, unemployment, that doors are going to be shut in the streets. Ain't no block parties, man, in the days to come. People can't afford that stuff, man. Right? Ain't no public weddings and, massive football games, all that stuff is going to be shut down. Stadiums empty, disease, outbreak. The doors are going to be shut. Why? It says when the sound of the grinding is low. Grinding represents grinding at the mill. The mill represents the breaking down of barley and wheat to grind it into flour, which produces obviously bread, right? And it's really a metaphor for the economy grinding, right? The system, right? The money flow, the currency, employment, all of these things are being they're grinding now. But that grinding is going to slow down. Layoffs, furloughs, unemployment, recession, shelves empty. These are the things that are part of the signs and tokens of the end of this man's world. It's just part. It's only part, right? You also have what else is going on? It says you got this beef going on between Pakistan and India, right? They're at odds over who controls particular parts of these various rivers. Now, they're both Elamites. Pakistan is an Elamite, or the Elamites, the Pakistanians, right? And the Indians, those are also Elamites. So you have them fighting amongst each other, fulfilling one of the signs that Yahushua said in Luke, the 21st chapter. Now, it says Pakistan's information minister to Al Arabia, Arab Ayor, all options are on the table to respond to India's decision to suspend the Indus River Treaty. So they're saying all options are on the table. Now, this is about shutting down the water supply and the economy of Pakistan. India is willing to entrust and be on board with the so-called white man, right? Because really what happened was, see if I can get this India. Let me see if I can find this, right? India has defended its role within BRICS following U.S. President Donald Trump's fresh threats at 100% tariff on the bloc, right? Now, what happened was you had this division going on, right? BRICS nations divide on U.S. dollar replacement, with India declaring no interest, right? India has absolutely no interest in undermining the U.S. dollar. You see that? Now, hold on now. BRICS, Brazil, India, Russia, China, South Africa is an economic alliance, right? It's an economic alliance built on essentially isolating themselves from the dependency of the United States dollar and the Federal Reserve, forming their own currency, their own trading partners, and essentially making things profit for themselves. But now India, they say, you know what, man, I don't know about this. Got to really think about this, man. Is this the right decision to make? Should we really let the so-called white man down? I mean, it sounded good. It was good to say, yeah, I'm with Russia, I'm with China, I'm with South Africa, I'm with Brazil. It sounded good. But now they're really trying this. And I didn't think they were really going to try this. Maybe we shouldn't undermine a US dollar. Maybe we really should just keep bowing down to the beast. Now, not too long ago, let's pull this up. The so-called vice president visited India, right? So-called vice president. They went to India and they're building a bond, right? U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance is currently on a 4-day visit to India with his wife and 3 children. Now, so-called ironically, during this time, shortly before and not too long after, India's told Pakistan, look, we can no longer hold this treaty with you. So a lot of this, what India is doing, they're being influenced by the so-called white men. They're turning against their fellow Elamite. And now these two Elamite nations are fighting amongst each other. They're warring amongst each other, fulfilling prophecy, where the Most High said that a sound of battle is in the land. Now, they also said, let me see if I can get this. Right? Where's it at? They said we have 30. Look at this. This is from Money Control. Oh, boy, let me see if I can refresh this page. Moneycontrol.com. Right? This is what Pakistan said. 130 nukes aimed at you. Pakistan minister warns India over Indus treaty suspension. So this thing is getting real. These guys ain't playing around, man. They're not like Jake who bluffs, man. And Esau, these Elamites, they're an ancient nation, right? They don't have they're not influenced by social media. This is an ancient nation. You cutting off their water supply, and they said, look, man, you keep messing around. We have 130 nuclear warheads aimed at you. Now, this could happen, man. India has to make a decision now. They have to make a decision. Do they want to get down with America and get a nuke? Or do they want to break off with America and strengthen their alliance with BRICS and not get the nukes? Because Pakistan, they're not playing. Right? These Pakistanians, they're not messing around. Let me get this precept in Jeremiah 50. Right? 130 nukes. And you know that he means that. He counted it. He didn't say we got 5 nukes, we got 10. He said we got 130 of them. He got the count. He said we're going to aim them at India. This is Jeremiah chapter 50 and 22. A sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. And that's what you call, like we always say, war drums, right? War drums between the Elamites. And Esau, he's the double in the middle. Sowing discord and having India break a treaty that they had for the last, I believe, like 40, 50 years, man. With their fellow brethren, the other Elamites. But that money, man, you know, Elam, they're looking at that money. I don't know, man. Sorry, I got to do this to you. So that's where this devil got to go. This devil, he sows discord amongst brethren. He's putting one Elamite man against the other Elamite man. The other Elamite man said, no, we got 130 missiles. Where's that at? Let's see if I get this again. 130 nukes aimed at you. Sloppy. I'm going to read a little of this. Right? It says, all right, Sloppy, all these ads. All right. Apostasy stated that if India were to halt the water supply to Pakistan by suspending the Indus Waters Treaty, which has already been partially suspended, India should brace itself for war. Read that again. India should embrace itself for war as Islamabad is prepared to strike if provoked. And they mean that. See, they're fighting over water. They're not fighting over a block, over a color. You got red on, I got blue on. This is a water supply that feeds their cattle, their meadows and pastures, and their citizens, man. Right? So let me jump down. So this could kick off major war, man. This could kick off major war. And parties are going to have to pick a side. China's going to have to pick a side. Russia's going to have to pick a side. You know, America's going to have to pick a side. This could trickle down to the valley of the middle, it's like the valley of Jehoshaphat. Right? So I'm going to read a little bit more in this. Right? Pakistan Minister Hanif Abbasi heightened tensions by openly threatening India with nuclear retaliation. He warned that if Islamabad's missile stockpile, comprising Gori, Shaheen, and Ghaznavi missiles, along with 130 nuclear warheads, has been maintained only for India. Right? It's like they got this madness. Right? Right? Something going on. Right? So like, let me refresh this. Right? Let me go back. And I'm gonna have to see if I can find this on another site. Right? But they said they're maintaining their missiles only for India. Abbasi stated that if India were to halt the water supply, okay, we read that. If they cut off our water supply, then they should get ready for war. And that makes perfect sense. I mean, what else are they going to do, man? You don't play around with somebody's water supply. It's not like you took 2 oxen and 3 cattle. You're killing them. See, the Most High tell you in Zechariah the 14th chapter, not having water is a punishment, man. A drought is a punishment. When you go to Zechariah 14, the Most High says that certain nations, one of the judgments is they won't get no rain if they don't come up to the Feast of Tabernacles. And not getting the rain is cutting off your water supply, right? This quick precept, Zechariah chapter 14 and verse number 17. And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. What happens if you don't have any rain? Obviously, your pastures don't get any water. Your meadows, your fields, your irrigation system dries out. By default, your cattle die out. Your goats die out. Your sheep, your herds, they all die out. Your fruit trees, they all die out. Your vegetable plants, they all die out. Your roots and your herbs for medicine, they die out. Sicknesses increase. Starvation happens. And all hell breaks loose. So you have to defend that. Right? You have to defend that. Right? Let me pull that up. Let me go back. Let's see if I can. All right. It says the military equipment we possess and the missiles we have are not for show. Let me read that again. The military equipment we possess and the missiles we have are not for show. Nobody knows where our nuclear weapons are stored across the country. I reiterate, all our ballistic missiles are aimed at you. So, and he's hot, man. Hey, this guy, he's hot. He's mad. He's pissed off, man. He's pissed. Right? He said, you don't know how I'm coming. I'm going to come at you. You know, where we coming from, man. You know, where we got our missiles at. You know, how we got them, but we got them aimed at you. And this guy don't look like he's playing, man. Does this guy look like he's playing around? Don't let the suit and the tie fool you, man. This guy, he don't look like he's too happy. Right? Pakistan rally minister Hanif Abbasi openly threatens nuclear war. And these guys are already kind of fighting, man. They already have small skirmishes and small battles. He says, stop water and be ready for war. Our weapons are facing you. So you got to keep watch. It's not just Ukraine and Russia. It's not the only events going on concerning war. It's not just Palestine and Israel, man. It's not just Taiwan and China. Now you got other key parties being involved. In addition to those aforesaid countries and belligerents, now you have Pakistan and India, right? Pakistan and India. Let's go to Luke 21, right? And guess who's in between the mix of that? Esau, the so-called white man. India's really willing to get nuked, right? Because Esau put a tariff out, right? Let's get this in Luke 21, right? Luke 21 has major tokens, Slakia, and signs of the end of the world, right? The St. Luke chapter 21 and verse 7, right? St. Luke 21 and 7. And they asked him, saying, Master, but when shall these things be? And what sign will there be when these things shall come to pass? Meaning, when are these temples or the temple and these stones going to be cast down? And he said, take heed that ye be not deceived, For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and the time draweth near. Go ye not therefore after them. The first admonition is don't be deceived by doctrines, religions, philosophies, antichrist, false Christ, idols, false gods, pseudoscience, religions, vanities. Don't be deceived. Many men are going to pretend and come in my name and pretend that they have the way, that they are the truth, and that they are the life. The time draweth near, and this is the time we in. Don't go after them. Verse 9. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. And tell me that one country telling another country, I got 130 nuclear warheads aimed at you. Tell me that's not wars and commotions. It's not a coincidence. That's prophecy. That's a sign. That's a token. That's proof that this man's kingdom is going down. And it's not just going to be, it's not just going to be, I'm getting excited. Slow down a little bit. It's not just going to be rumors of wars. Eventually, it's going to turn to physical, full-scale war. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they were already having small skirmishes. Let me see if I can find that. India and Pakistan skirmish. Now they say 2025. Look at that. Look at this. And this from 2 days ago. Al Jazeera. India and Pakistan trade gunfire as tensions rise. They're already trading gunfire. I don't know if there's casualties. Women are dead. Are children dead? Are they burying their loved ones? Is this escalating? Now, again, these are two Elamite nations. They're trading gunfire. And this may very well spread. Now, let's put this up on the map. India, Pakistan on the map before we move on. So you got to keep watch. Keep watch. India is being essentially extorted and blackmailed and seduced by America. I just pulled the article. Where is it at? Let's pull this back up. Look at this. India and U.S. ties. Vance calls for stronger India-U.S. relations as trade talks progress. And I pulled the other article. India said we should not undermine the U.S. dollar. They told China that. Now you had India and China working for years to build up the BRICS alliance. And now India turned their back on them and said, look, we got to really think about this. Let's really kind of, somebody start doing, let's really kind of start just, let's take things slow. Let's not move too fast. Right? Look at this. The beast. Let's get Revelation, the 17th chapter. This devil, the beast. Right? All nations have drunken for wine. Right? The nations have drunken and the nations are mad. Right? Revelation chapter 17 and verse number 1. And there came one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Who is the great whore? America. Why is she the great whore? Because she commits fornication, not on a literal level, but on a spiritual level, through her philosophies, the IMF, the World Bank, the Federal Reserve, Christianity, democracy. That amalgamation of things is how she gets to be in bed with other nations. Because some nations, no matter who you are, you have accepted one of those things. You have accepted the Federal Reserve. You have accepted the dollar. You have accepted Christianity. You have accepted democracy. You have accepted their foreign policies. You have accepted anything. And now you're in bed with America. Verse number 2, India, you would think, man, they're getting back in bed. They said it was too good to pass up. I miss that old feeling. Oh, America. Oh, America. Look at J.D. Vance. He's such a white man. And this guy, man, he's probably captivated. Look at this white guy. God has stepped foot again. You would have thought, you would have thought, and wouldn't you have thought, India learned from Britain? Wasn't India oppressed, being raped, robbed, and murdered by Britain in the late 1800s, early 1900s? Wasn't they damn near a province under the British Empire? You would have thought that they would have learned, but they just can't help themselves. Some people fall in love with whores, man. They know and they know that these whores are bad for them. They know that. They know that they don't love them. They know that they're gold diggers. They're checking their pockets. You know, they got their hand out. They want the materialistic things. They're using them. A lot of these guys, they know that, man. A lot of these guys know. They see these simps out here. They know that stuff, man. But the demon, right? The demon inside of them can't help it. They can't help it. They just, it's a demon. And this guy has a demon on him on the right of the screen. He's looking at this guy like he's God, right? That's why he's back in bed with him. Revelation 17:2, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Her wine are her philosophies and her doctrines. And he's back in bed. He's back in bed. So you have World War III on the horizon, and Pakistan said all options are on the table to respond to India's decision to suspend the Indus River Treaty, right? The Indus River Treaty. Another event going on. This is from World at War. Thousands of allied, right? This is thousands of allied, pull this up, American and Filipino forces opened annual combat drills Monday that include repelling an island attack to simulate the defense of the Philippine archipelago and seas in a full-scale battle scenario that has antagonized China. The annual Balikatan military exercises between the longtime treaty allies are scheduled from April 21st to May 9th, with about 9,000 American and 5,000 Filipino military personnel. Here's what their lieutenant general said. U.S. Marine Corps General, Lieutenant General James Glenn, right? And he quotes, "Our combined strength possesses a degree of lethality for a force that possesses an indomitable warrior ethos and spirit," right? So now you have India and Pakistan exchanging gunfire. Pakistan said, "We got 130 nuclear warheads. How you want it?" You already got wars going on with Russia and Ukraine. You have Palestine and Israel fighting. And now you have war games going on, war drills going on with the Philippines and the United States, right? Let's pull that up. War drills, right? Philippines, U.S., right? 9,000 U.S. troops, and they're ready. This is a simulation for full battle in case the Philippines were invaded by China. How would they respond, right? So they deployed anti-ship missiles to the Philippines, and they're doing live fire drills. And they ain't doing this nowhere in secret. It's near China's hotspots, right? So you see how the Mossad is moving the pieces on the chessboard, man. On one hand, you have economic disaster coming. On the other hand, you have wars coming on the earth. The Mossad is bringing all of these things full circle, man. Right? The Mossad is bringing all these things full circle, and it's affecting everybody. Right? Let's get a quick precept. This is Jeremiah. Right? This is Jeremiah chapter 25. And let's start Go to verse number 15. Right? This Jeremiah chapter 25 and 15. Slakia. For thus said the Lord God of Israel unto me, take the wine cup of the fury of this fury at my hand, and cause all the nations to whom I send thee to drink it. Now I read a precept earlier in Isaiah chapter 51, about 16 on down, about the cup of his fury that's going to go to the so-called white man. I read that in Lamentations 4:21 on down. But now Jeremiah chapter 25 said it's not just Esau that's going to drink of that cup. He says all nations are going to drink of this cup. That's why you see the Philippines getting involved. Now you got Pakistan getting involved. You got the other Elamite nation getting involved. China, the Moabite man, getting involved. All 18 nations are getting involved. Right? Now, let's pull this up. It reads, Jeremiah 25 and 16, and they shall drink and be moved and be mad because of the sword that I will send among them. Then I took the cup at the Lord's hand and made all, not some, all the nations to drink unto whom the Lord hath sent me. So there's an actual spirit that's working on the minds of different nations in the earth to stir them up for war, right? Let's get that in Joel, the 3rd chapter. Right? Let's get that in Joel chapter 3. Let the weak say, I am strong. Book of Joel chapter 3 and verse number 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. So plowshares and pruning hooks are farming equipment. And the Lord is saying it's going to be manufactured and engineered, for lack of better terms, and manipulated to be turned into physical weapons, which is really the Lord saying most nations are agricultural farming nations, but now they're going to get involved in war. They're going to start building nuclear warheads, nuclear weapons, right? And they're going to aim themselves at one another. So even you got the flips getting involved. What flips that? You have the flips getting involved, and they're receiving anti-ship missiles. They know what the Negro in America does not know. They know that war is inevitable. They know that lives are going to be lost. That World War III will happen. These other nations, they know that. See, they're not beguiled and seduced by the simple American here in Babylon the Great, who's watching the damn NBA finals all day and the Bad Girls Club, smoking a blunt, watching the Grammys, and eating a bag of hot Cheetos and a Big Mac. These people in America are lost. They are the lowest. The American is the lowest of the totem pole in terms of awareness, global awareness. They have no awareness. They have no level of circumspection or understanding of anything outside of themselves, their immediate circle, and their 9-to-5 job. But even these people in these farmlands in the Philippines, they're being told by military officials that war is coming. The people in Taiwan, they're being told by American military officials and their own leaders that war is coming. Pakistan, India, they're all getting ready for war while the Negro is sitting around somewhere trying to figure out how he smoked his blunt so fast and where can he get another one from. That's what he's thinking about. The next rap beef. You have people to this day still dissecting the Drake-Kendrick beef. They're going over every word, every detail. They're visiting where he shot the music video. They're taking pictures. They have a storyboard on the wall. They're linking things up to do their next podcast. And now you have anti-ship missiles going to the Philippines. So these Americans are a joke. You know? And the Lord calls this place the careless city in Zephaniah, the 2nd chapter. Right? The careless city who sit as a queen. That's why they call themselves a queen. I shall see no sorrow. You know? Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse number 15. Right? Zephaniah chapter 2 and 15. This is the rejoicing city that dwelt carelessly, that said in her heart, I am, and there is none beside me. How will she become a desolation, a place for beasts to lie down in? Everyone that passeth by her shall hiss and wag his hand. You see that? So even the Most High tells you at this place, they have no awareness, man. They're careless. They don't know what's going on. If it's not on their immediate Facebook, if it's not on their TikTok, if it ain't the Super Bowl, the Grammys, rap beef, the NBA Finals, the draft. We're talking about the draft. Shador Sanders. God, please draft Shador. Please draft him to my team. Shador. Please draft him. God, why would you do this to Shador? Here you have war breaking off. You have 130 missiles about to be launched in the earth today. Shador. The Mossad's not dealing with the NFL, man. With these distractions and this joke. See what the Mossad did show you, needless to say, that brother, he was 144. So if you was to look at anything, you can see a 144. Oh, let me reevaluate myself. Let me get right. See, the Mossad put them signs and stuff in there. So America, they dwell carelessly is the point, man. So you have these wars going on. What else is going on in the earth? Right? This is another reason why the so-called white man must go down. The United Kingdom scientists attempt to dim the sun in a 50 million? Is that in euros? 50 million geoengineering product. You see these devils, man? You see they pride? They want to, it says other methods at the top of the screen. Other methods will include launching reflective particles into the atmosphere and using seawater sprays to make clouds brighter. And they want to dim the sun. They said, man, this sun is kicking our ass, man. We're getting burnt up. We're dying of cancer. I'm sick of putting suntan lotion on. I won't be able to afford it anymore. So let me just dim the sun. There's a recession going on and an economic collapse. My skin's flakes and peels for 5 months out of the year. The shelves are becoming empty. You know what? Let's just dim the sun. Where's it at in the scriptures, man? Where the Most High told man to dim the sun. You can't dim the sun. But they planned on doing it. This place must go down, man. This devil must go down. They don't understand. Man, I don't. Man, only Yahweh, Basham Shai know it. What the sun really does. There's a spirit behind the sun, man. Its course that it's programmed on. The sun does more than just photosynthesis, man. There are spirits attached to the sun, man. People feel stronger, or we do. We get strength. We're rejuvenated, man. Sun put a spirit on you, man. You know, it affects certain. Hey, the sun does more things than you may or may not know, man. So here you are dimming the sun. You don't know what effects it's going to have. Let's go to Psalms 82:5. I can't stand you devils, man. You're just sitting around. See, Jake, we don't have the luxury or the means to think about dimming the sun. We're thinking about work, bills, how many buses you got to take to get to work. Do you have bus fare? Your child support, if you have that. Your mortgages, if you're paying that, man. What food going to be on the table? What you going to eat tonight? But these devils, they got the ability to sit somewhere and in there, they have the time to think about dimming the sun. You've never thought about that. All you're thinking about is how not to get shot, man. When you're at the ATM, at the gas station. Do you have enough money for gas for the week? That's what you're thinking about, man. But these devils, man, they got too much time on their hands. They got to go down. This Psalms chapter 82, I mean, this whole thing is good. I'm going to start at 5, though. Psalms 82:5. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. So everything's out of course, man. Everything's backwards. You want to dim the sun? To what? What are you going to do, man? What does that look like? What's your plan, man? Temperatures decreasing, plants dying, people starving. You know, that's why he has to go. He has to go. Let me get that in Revelation 11. He has to go, man. The Egyptians, they were on the earth. They weren't thinking about dimming the sun. They were fools within themselves and said, we're going to worship the sun, which is no better. But no nation was on the earth that ever thought about dimming the sun except the so-called white man. The Medes and the Persians, that one thing come in their mind. Even Nebuchadnezzar in his pride, that didn't come in his mind. When Solomon was on the earth, that wasn't in his mind. When David was on the earth, that wasn't on his mind. When the apostles in the church was building and teaching the gospel, that never crossed their mind. Only you devils would think about something so heinous, so wicked, and so ungodly, man. Right? Revelation chapter 11 and verse number 18, you want to dim the sun. Because you're getting burnt up. Your skin is peeling. You're shedding your skin. I've seen certain devils, man. They got them green. Let's look at them green bubbles. Green sunburn blisters. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Has that ever happened to you? Has it ever happened? Growing up, you're in the sun, you're running around, you playing, you outside, you at the beach, you're doing your thing. It's a normal day. Have you ever looked at your arm and woke up the next morning and have you had a damn this? So we get it. It's not like we don't get. I mean, we kind of get why you want to dim the sun. Because if that happened to me when I walked out and it was 85 degrees, I might want to start, and that suntan, that SPF 3000 wasn't working. SPF 4000, SPF XL, SPF maximum, SPF so-and-so. If SPF XL is not working, then yeah, you might want to have, look at this guy. This guy going to physical therapy, man. You know? Look at this. Look at this devil. Look at this. 2nd degree sunburn. Look at this devil. Little devil, man. Right? Damn devil. Look at this guy. Right? See that? See that? Look at that. All right? Now hold on. Doesn't the scripture say in Revelation chapter 1, right? And his feet likened to fine brass. If Yahushua was a so-called white man, and he was in the temperature and the climate of Jerusalem at that time, or even in the Isle of Patmos, off the coast of Turkey, at his feet, and he had the sandals on. What hold on. Is that fine brass? If Jesus is a white man, why would his feet be fine brass when they look pink? Every white man who wears sandals in the sun, it don't turn fine brass. It looks like that. Those are sandal strap marks, man. We're not dealing with you, Edomites. And putting the sun on your shoulder is not going to help you. So these devils, man, they want to, that's what the scripture says, what, man? Revelation chapter 11 and 18. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. There are a people on the earth that God says they are destroying the earth. They are literally destroying the earth. The earth is a spirit. Well, there's a spirit within the earth, man. It brings forth life. It brings forth man. man decomposes and goes back to the earth plays a major role in regeneration, right? The producing of soil and life, man. It's a living being. And the earth is getting old and it's dying. It tells you that in 2nd Ezra 14. The earth is waxing old. And 2nd Ezra 5, the earth is likened to a woman at her age. So they have essentially exasperated and accelerated the age of the earth due to their technology, digging into the earth, drawing out the oil, shifting the so-called plates, jumping in volcanoes. They go into volcanoes, drop a bomb in there, get out of there, press the button and blow up a volcano just to get pictures taken for National Geographic. They're underwater fighting sharks in cages, right? They're digging underground, you know. They're tapping, they're putting chips and plants and damn devices inside of a damn bear, man. Put one inside his brain so you can see how he thinks before he hibernates. To track his devices, man. These devils have plastic island mountains, man. Let's see if I can find this plastic mountains in the ocean. Look at this. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is a collection of marine debris in the North Pacific Ocean. Also, check out the other name, also known as the Pacific Trash Vortex. The garbage patch is actually two distinct collections of debris bounded by the massive North Pacific subtropical, gyre, right? If I'm pronouncing that correctly. Look at this. Look what these devils did, man. Right? That's why the birds are falling out the sky. The animals are they can't breathe. They're beaching themselves up on the shore. There's actual mountains of trash, right? And plastics. You go fishing, you catch a fish got stuck inside of a can, man. Tires and wickedness, right? So these devils, the point is, where's this at? They want to dim the sun, right? They want to dim the sun, right? They want to dim the sun. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 24 and 5, right? Isaiah 24 and 5. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant, right? So all laws are now obsolete under the hand of the so-called white man. There's not one law, statute, commandment, or ordinance that is being upheld by the powers that be, these terrestrial luminaries, these elites, if you will. Huh? All ideologies and philosophies are from their own belly, and they're sent to glorify the flesh and to praise the spiritual demon Satan, right? So these are more signs of the end, man. Again, one last time, United Kingdom scientists to attempt to dim the sun in a $50 million geoengineering project, right? What else do we have? Right, we winding down, press for time. Let me see where I'm at with time. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh and his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai. All right, moving on. Revealed. It says the UFO sightings taken seriously by the US government. So now you have the government coming out, and they've been looking to identify the chariots, and we know that they know what they are, right? We know that they know what the chariots are, but now they're saying, here's the ones that we take serious. Right? So they're still investigating these so-called chariot or the so-called UFOs, right? Which the Bible calls the chariots of Israel and the horsemen thereof, right? So let me go back to this title. The UFO sightings taken seriously by the U.S. government, right? Let me jump down. I'm not going to read this whole thing. And for brothers that may be new in this truth, the sisters that may be new in this knowledge, don't let the word that acronym fool you. UFO, right? Unidentified flying objects. The Bible identifies these vehicles as the chariots of Israel and the horsemen thereof, and their purpose is, relating to us, is to deliver us out of our captivity. So they're going to fly over as birds flying, like it's in Isaiah 31:5, send down their tractor beam and beam us up out of this captivity, right? So they're still searching into the in depths of the chariots, right? You also have, let me pull this up, right? This is I had this pulled up about AI, right? Just saying AI may become one of the biggest idols. I want to pull this up. See if I can find this. I don't know if it's on Facebook. Right? Let's see if I get the article. Right? So they're saying we may be looking to AI, that's the artificial intelligence, as the ultimate unquestionable expert. Yeah, everything's AI now, right? You ask something online, you got the AI tell you what this is, what that is, right? But AI is engineered by fallible humans, trained on data from fallible humans, and prone to bias, errors, and confabulation. Presenting made up information as factual, only God is all-knowing, infallible, and the ultimate truth. His word, not the outputs of AI, must be our final authority. Continue reading. AI has potential to become one of history's most compelling and dangerous idols. And that's true to a degree, man. Nobody seeks the Most High, man. Everybody, it's not even just AI, it's the so-called white man. It goes back to the worship of the beast and his miracles, right? Artificial intelligence is part of the miracles of the beast and the false prophet. Because when you resort to the so-called white man for all of the answers, when you're sick, all of the answers, when you want to understand something, when you're dealing with problems, by default, you're making him your God. So our AI is an idol. It can be, I'll put it like that, right? It's not a sin to go online or use AI chat. It's not a sin, chat GPT, all of that. But what it does to those who don't have understanding, it gets into your mind and make you believe that you don't have to go to the Most High. Just go to Esau like you've always been doing. And now his answers are a lot stronger than before, right? But I want to get this quick precept. Revelation, the 13th chapter, right? Revelation chapter 13, right? This is Revelation chapter 13 and verse number, let's start at 12, right? I'll start at 14. Revelation 13 and 14. And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. Now, this is speaking about how America uses technology and philosophies and science, pseudoscience, if you will, to deceive the masses of the people, where they think that this is of God. A lot of people look at what the so-called white man is currently doing with artificial intelligence, and they think that this is a divine blessing of God. They don't understand that the so-called white man is receiving this from Satan. Only Esau and his satanic networking can come up with the technology that you see. It's nothing but sorcery. It's nothing but witchcraft, right? For these devils to use artificial intelligence and use this, and they got certain things. They got the voiceover now. They can fabricate something that never happened. They're taking pictures, and the pictures are like becoming like real time, huh? I saw one where they had Mona Lisa, the painting of Mona Lisa. I believe Leonardo da Vinci. but it was like Mona Lisa getting ready to be painted, but it was actually her, but it was AI. So she was sitting down, she was kind of, getting her hair together, and she kind of eventually turned to the pose, but it was her, and there are other, and that's just what he's giving us. See, these devils, man, they keep the good stuff for themselves. Right? All of the so-called good stuff, all of the true intentions, they're not giving that to the public. They give you the low-level stuff, the stuff they put trials on, and can't really, fulfill their agenda. They give that to the public. You can buy the app, you can download it and say what you want to say. But there are things on the left-hand side, dark things, sorcery. Half of these apps, they be in your mind. They know what you're about to say, what you're thinking about, right? What your last conversation was, the ad popped up, right? And that's just what they have today. So you don't know what type of like sorcery and witchcraft that these devils have, right? He does deal with sorcery, man. Witchcraft is real. It's not just something from, a fable. Witchcraft is real, right? Sorcery is real. This Nahum chapter 3 and 4. Why? Because the Bible says so, right? Nahum 3 and 4. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts, that selleth nations through her whoredoms, and families through her witchcraft. So entire families, nations, and kingdoms are being beguiled through the sorcery of the so-called white man. So there's a lot going on in the earth. You have more disconnecting from the Most High God, more attachment to technology, AI, the so-called white man science. People don't even believe in the Most High anymore. I believe they're even telling you the average American, Christianity, American. How do I want to type this? Christianity is falling, right? See that? The latest RLS fielded over 7 months from 2023 to 2024 finds that 62% of U.S. adults identify as Christians. That is a decline. That is a decline of 9 percentage points from 2014 and a 16-point drop from 2007. Right? U.S. Christian decline may be stabilizing. So you have massive apostasy going on, more wickedness increasing. There was a soccer, I believe it's a soccer game, and in the middle of the game, they were praising Satan. Let's see if I can find that. Right? Let's see. I don't even know how to type that in. Soccer game, Satan worship. Right? See if I can find that. Yep. This was it, man. They actually, in the middle of the game in Germany, they started praising the spiritual demon Satan. Right? With sorcery, AI, witchcraft. So this is what they're pushing. You have this going on, being cut off from the Most High. Right? You have wars on the rise, nuclear warheads, witchcraft, sorcery, more and more chariot sightings than ever before, right? Empty shelves, economic collapses, war drills going on, war games going on. There are many things going on the earth, man. Right? Let's go to the book, and they tried to summon a demon in the middle of the game, man. And this is in Latin, right? It says ad lucem nas something, pretty much to Lucifer, our so-and-so, our light and so-called God, right? I used to know a little bit of Latin, right? But it's telling you through the spirit that pretty much they're trying to summon and invoke the spiritual demon Satan. And nobody's going to shut that down. Nobody said, well, what are you guys doing? What is this about? This is a soccer game. Hey, kids are here. You got guys going to the concession stand, getting a hoagie and a deep dish, and they're coming back till they sit down to watch the soccer game, and they look across and they see Satan. This place this is proof, further proof that this place must go down. Right? Let's go to 2nd Esdras, chapter 11. Right? Let's go to 2nd Esdras, chapter 11 and verse number 39. Right? 2nd Esdras, the 11th chapter, prophesies about the Roman Empire. And these days, America being an extension and a regeneration of the Roman Empire. It's also speaking about these days, right? 2nd Esdras, chapter 11 and 39. Are not thou it that remainest of the 4 beasts, whom I have made to reign in my world, that the end of their times might come through them? So the end of all kingdoms and rulership is going to come by the hand of the so-called white man. That's why there's so much apostasy, Satanism, war, destruction of the ecosystem, destruction of the economy, people's minds, witchcraft, madness, and folly, because you're living in the end of the world, a fulfillment of prophecy. The end of times is coming through the so-called white man. Verse number 40. And the 4th came and overcame all the beasts that were past, and had power over the world with great fearfulness, and over the whole compass of the earth with much wicked oppression. That's heavy. With much wicked oppression. And so long time dwelt he upon the earth with deceit. And he has been ruling the earth for a long time with deceit, man. He's been lying that he's an Edomite. People still don't know he's the Edomite. He's been lying saying that you're a Negro and a black man when you're the children of the Most High. Some brothers in the truth still have a hard time really like having that hit home. Like they don't really know, you know, we've been cut off from that for so long. Some brothers forget that they're Israelites, man. And they start operating like a Negro in the world. You really forget that you're the people, you're the people that the Most High brought out of Egypt. You're the people that the Lord gave commandments to at Mount Sinai. Right? You're the people who bow down and say Yahweh is God. He is God in the days of Elijah. We're the people who witnessed Yahweh Shai walk on the earth, man. We're those same people. But due to Esau living on the earth with deceit, we've been completely cut off from our heritage, our nationality, all things that are righteous. And now look at the earth. Look at the plastic mountains. Look at 99.9% of the animals being extinct. Look at the generations now that are completely cut off from wisdom and understanding. All of that has happened in this man's time. And the Most High is getting on him in this chapter. Verse number 41. For the earth hast thou not judged with truth, but thou hast afflicted the meek. Thou hast hurt the peaceable. Thou hast loved liars, and destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit, and hast cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm. Therefore is thy wrongful dealing come up unto the highest, and thy pride unto the mighty. The highest also hath looked upon the proud times, and behold, they are ended, and its abominations are fulfilled. And your time is ended, man. Your time is ended. It's over. Your kingdom is finished. There's no hope. There's no coming back. There's no great making America great again. We're waking up day by day. The Israelites are all over the earth. You're shutting down camps in countries. You're flagging videos. You shut down the websites. You're coming up with global anti-Semitism laws. You're trying to figure out how you're going to win this trade war that you won't win. You won't win it. You're trying to create weapons and systems to fight against Yahweh Shai, your Space Force. Your kingdom's over, man. You're trillions of dollars in debt. You're trying to dim the sun. You're pulling out all you're pulling out all stops, man. You're at your wit's end. The Lord said the highest, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, also has looked upon the proud times, and behold, they are ended, and its abominations are fulfilled. And with that, we're going to close up, giving, of course, all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashima Mashiach Wamalak Yahweh Shai. Most High willing you are edified. New moon lesson, end times, proof, right? Infallible proofs. It's undeniable, man. And there are more things that you can search out on your own, right? You're supposed to be watching, right? keeping watch, measuring the times diligently, man, and understanding where we are at with prophecy, right? And don't fall asleep, man. Don't get distracted by the world. Don't get caught up by your job. Don't get caught up by your money, worldly family. Be circumspect, man. Stay focused, man. Yahweh Shah said, behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be. With that, again, Most High willing, you are edified. Kwam Yashalom. Shalom.